Gordon Lightfoot interview for 1982.
As soon as the record comes out, of course, like, we're not necessarily going to go and hit the road and start plugging it, because we've already, in a sense, done that, because we've been doing a lot of this material on stage already, and checking the audience response on it. What we will do is, when we tour, we'll do it in a piecemeal type of way, as we've done in the past. We go out and do 3 or 4 dates at a time, and fly back home, and then wait for 5 or 6 days, and then maybe go out again, that type of deal. We play in Western Canada sometime in the spring. I believe it's in April, and our American tour, which is quite large, takes up a lot more time, and we'll probably start that in let us say at the end of July, and that will take us right through until the end of 1982. I always see couples. Always, I see couples, and they're holding hands, and I don't know. They're just our particular audience is a very, very nice kind of people. We don't have any yahoos hanging around. When I originally began to make it in the music business, which was many, many years ago, some of the the most important contacts that I established were American managers, and as a result of this, they were establishing like American deals. So I was able to work there under an H-1 visa, which is what you have to have. Like, you have to show some reason for being there. You still have to pay your income taxes to them. We pay taxes to the American government as well as the Canadian government, and you have to show that you have some reason for usurping somebody's job. And so it was not necessary for me to move down to the United States at that point. Now, the other reason is that this is going to sound kind of phony, but I really like Toronto a lot. I like Toronto. I've been living here 22 years. I like my city a lot, and I like one of my hobbies a lot, and that's canoeing. And I like to go canoeing up in the far north, and that sort of thing. And that's one of probably the main reason why I stay here, is I like my city, and I like going canoeing. Yeah, this summer we're doing the Kazan River from Snowbird Lake, about 200 miles north of Flin Flon, Manitoba, to Baker Lake. It's a good trip. I wouldn't advise it, though. It's it's a trip for experts, and we plan to start that about July the 1st, and we hope that we don't run into ice, because it's been a cold winter. What you have to do is just simply carry everything around the ice if you happen to encounter ice. It's usually drift ice that's drifting out of lakes and into the rivers, and some of these lakes that are long and narrow, the ice will collect as in a funnel. The lake becomes a funnel, and the ice will collect. So all you can do is just carry the stuff, but you take the number of days into consideration. The rule of thumb is you should go about 20 miles a day, irregardless of what kind of obstructions you might run up against, which could be rapids or any number of things. Wind. So it's an interesting thing. It's really good for your health. And now that I've done about 3,500 miles of it, I'm pushing for the 4,000 mile mark this summer on the Kazan, which is about a 500-mile trip. If you have anything like go wrong that is very serious, we carry an emergency locator, which we would use only in certain instances. Like you wouldn't use it if a guy had a toothache. You'd give him a 222 or something. We're going to make an audiovisual presentation, which could become like an item for a cable TV slot in the United States, or it could be used as a promotional device. It could be played as a mini concert on PBS, which would be received here in Canada. There are many outlets, but they're expensive to make, but we're going to make one. And it's all in the framework with the new audio-visual disc business that is beginning to develop. And I was approached or asked if I wanted to get involved in this several months ago, and I've decided to do it. So we're going to make one of those. But it's going to cost probably about $85,000 to make one. It's very expensive. There are 3 or 4 different avenues that it could be used in. As a matter of fact, I'm making it a policy to make one of those with each album that I make from now on. If you want to get into that, I mean, if you want to take the effort, make the effort, and get involved in it, you have a much better chance of succeeding with your record because one helps the other. And I'm just a very kind of conscientious guy, and we run like a big business here. We're a big company. A lot of people work in this company. There's all the guys in the band, the sound people, everybody, and we try to do what we can to keep things rolling along. I've been doing it so long that I've sort of some 23 years now. It's it's just like keeping it rolling along, keeping the momentum up, and looking after things, and playing good music and making people happy, and that sort of thing. That's what it's all about. If I have something I really believe in that I have done, such as I've done with this record, and the amount of effort and work that has gone into this record. The only reason I'm doing a promotional tour is because I want to make sure that people are aware of it. I could go comparing it to other things. I wouldn't compare it like to other people, but I could compare it to my own work. And I would say it's as good as anything they have done since Sundown, for instance. No, because you can't think about being the producer while you're cutting your basic tracks. And everything that is ever going to be there is going to be in your basic track. And you don't put your producer's hat on until it comes time to do the post-production. Well, you start before that, of course, but you don't really get seriously into it until the post-production, the mix, and the overdubs and all that sort of thing. We use all of our basic musicians on our basic tracks, which is just when we sit down. Like I don't go and put my whole vocal on a record. Like when I sing that thing when I sing it, unless I might mess up a line or two, I might go back and correct that. But I sing that vocal the first time I ever walk on the studio floor. I don't come in like 3 months later and stand in a booth and sing it. In the wreck of the Evan Fitzgerald, it was one of those remarkable cases where I was in the groove of writing songs, and I had noticed this article in a Newsweek magazine. I believe it was November 21st, 1975, and I wrote the song, I worked on the song for 2 days. I had the musicians come in the house on the third day. We ran through parts of the song. I rewrote the song during that night. I rewrote it until noon hour the next day. We went to the studio, we put it down once, and we had it. It was finished. We tried to do it a couple more times after that, but nothing sounds quite as good as the very first one that we got.
Side 2 of Gordon Lightfoot interview for 1982.
Songwriting is a complicated process. It takes a lot of time. It's done gradually. It's done by bits of information, bits of strings of ideas, of which I presently would be feeling, and I keep track of these things on scraps of paper and that sort of thing. And when it comes time to do the job, you figure, well, now let's take 3 or 4 months and let's write some songs. And then you go and take a look in your wallet and your briefcase and find these little bits of ideas that you've written down. I always carry around like a few sheets of manuscript with me. I might write like one line and leave it there, or Terry and I might come up with something while we're getting in tune for a show. And you just save these little pieces of information up, and when it comes time to go, you just take the tiny string of material and develop it. I also sometimes like to tape little bits of information, but that usually is done when I'm at home or in my office or something like that, because like I don't go running all over the place with a tape recorder on me, you know. If I get an idea, I'll write it down, usually. The cover of the album I have a friend in Los Angeles who's done a lot of photographic work on me, Tom Burt. And he wanted to do something that would sort of illustrate this shadows idea. So this is a very special process that he uses here. And since we're talking about album jackets, and album jackets are important, he's a very bright guy, and he does a lot of photography. He's a professional, very professional photographer. And he wanted to get something that would create this idea of shadows. So that's where this picture comes from. 14-karat gold is surrealistic. It's surrealistic. It has to do with the relationship, with the human relationship. What it says is that you don't know everything there is to know about everybody else, or about each other, or about anything for that matter. But what you say is that you're saying that you appreciate your lady in very positive terms. It's kind of a departure from some of the other stuff that I've done, and some of this stuff will be rather prevalent on this record. It's a different kind of texture, and it's a kind of texture that I've used in this album at least 3 or 4 times with the bass drum and the certain musical approach that we use on it. And it's a song that works extremely well on stage because I've sung it many times. In My Fashion is a philosophical song, which I have attempted to write many. I don't know if I've ever really succeeded at it, but I've tried. It recognizes my responsibilities as a human being to the people I've been very closely related to in my life, like my family, my relatives, and my 2 kids by my former marriage, that sort of thing. It's a song of where you recognize that that you have not cut all of the, even though things have not worked out the way people would have liked to have had them work out, that everything is being looked after and things have not just been cast to the wind. Shadows. Well, at the time, about 6 months ago, and I really wasn't sure if I had everything that I needed to make a great album out of this thing. That was one of the very best songs that I had. It was just about the premier tune that I thought that I had. And it was a song that dealt also with a very special problem that I was going through in my life, as many people have gone through. It dealt with nature and the relationship between the man and the woman and that whole sort of thing. And the result of it, I thought the tune was so darn good that I said this is going to be my title song, and it still is. Blackberry Wine is a song that I wrote about 2 or 3 years ago, which is a very lively, bright little tune that we have a lot of fun with, and which works very well on stage. It's about a very light topic. As a matter of fact, it's about drinking, if we might be so bold. Heaven Help the Devil. In my quest for topical material, which is something that I always go for in a big way. I like to write topical songs, but being a Canadian, I can't really comment upon what happens in other countries because, after all, it's none of my business when you come right down to it. But that song was written for the hostages after their return. And it is a commentary upon the fact that they were returned and that everything was all right. Really? I wanted to prove that I wasn't trying to capitalize on the fact that they were imprisoned. I didn't want to do that, so I waited until the whole thing was over with. But the idea came to me before they were released. Thank you for the promises. It has the kind of sort of romantic type of approach. The music is interesting. The rhythm pattern is very interesting in it, and it deals with the same type of situation that we find in a lot of these songs, except it is done with much more sophistication about the relationship between the man and the woman, and in their mutual regard for one another, but must we both totally devote one another to each other as long as we both shall live, kind of situation. It reminds me of Leonard Cohen. If anybody influenced a tune like that, I'd say it would have to have been Leonard Cohen. I was quite a fan of his for a number of years. Still am. Baby, Step Back. If I were to tell you the story behind that song, you wouldn't even believe me. I was out playing golf one day with my brother-in-law, Bob Ayers, up in Aurelia, whose name is credited on the album, by the way. And it came time to go on the first tee, and he said, either step up or step back, he said. And that was where that song originated. All I'm After. It was one of the very last songs that I wrote for the album. And it was one of the last songs that made it into the roster. It has a certain thing about it that is very nice. It's also written in 6/8 time, which is a sort of an interesting area to get into. I've done it before, but have not been successful. It deals with the human relationship, and honesty pays, because if you're not honest, you're going to have to pay for it somewhere down the road. The song Triangle. The song is written specifically about the Bermuda Triangle. And I've actually known a person who got lost down there in my life. I've known a person who actually disappeared down there. I think what it is a system of wind and rocks that causes these things to happen down there. Some people say it's extraterrestrial. So what I did was try to make a general blanket statement about it, and it's a completely philosophical song. It's a sea shanty, of which I've written many. As a matter of fact, one day I would like a whole album of all of my sea songs and songs about the water. I'd like to have them all published on one album. I'll do anything probably I would think would have been my most unlikely to succeed. But the guitar work and everything that has gone into the song has made it very acceptable. It would be the closest thing to a country song that we have on this record. She's not the same. This one is our mystery tune. It's a song of unrequited love. And I consider it to be a very good song.
This interview I paid $5 for. A record for it. And I hope you enjoy the interview.